Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Delaware Pro Wrestling Report. I'm Paul the Nitro Skyrus. We got ourselves a great show today. We'll take a look at DCW's Poetic Tragedy event that happened September 10th. We'll look at a card for 302 Pro Wrestling that happened on September 3rd. More information about the combined card of 302 Pro Wrestling and DCW at Dover Air Force Base, and some ECWA news from their 49th anniversary show. I'll announce the full lineup for that, and our Trivia Time answers to the Trivia Time questions. So without any further ado, let's begin. As I mentioned on my Facebook page, Rampage Pro Wrestling had to cancel their September 10th show because of circumstances beyond their control. I have not heard yet from our promoter, Jay Cortez, about the next card that's going to be coming to Rampage Pro Wrestling. Hopefully I'll find out more information on our next episode of the Nitro Corner, so stay tuned. I am working on that right now. Moving on, excuse me, clear my throat a little bit. Let's go first to DCW. Next up is DCW. They had Poetic Tragedy, their event on September 10th at the Milford Community Center. And it was a pretty decent card. Let me run down the results of that card. In an unsanctioned title match, Chris Wilde came out to ringside and officially announced that the rumors were true. He was injured and had to forfeit the title to Damian Adams. Well, Damian Adams was then informed by DCW officials that he would have to defend the title later in the night against an unnamed opponent. More about that in a moment. In the No Limit title match, KO Storm defeated Breaker Morant to become the new No Limits champion. Congratulations to him. Deonna Purrazzo successfully defended her Divas of Dynamite championship, beating Tara Calloway. Mr. Ooh La La, substituting for Mr. Cruz, defeated Corey Castle on a reverse decision. And the DCW Tag Team Champions, the Classics, made an open challenge to any team that would come out and face them. Well, the team of Dave Reed and Valero came out and pulled an upset by beating the Classics. It teaches you not to issue open challenges unless you're going to have confidence in yourself to win the contest. Next, Swayze defeated Travis Banks one-on-one. Joe Kerr defeated Raymond Dogger thanks to interference by Annabelle Stackhouse. Then the new No Limits champion, Damian Adams, comes out and injures Joe Kerr's knee. I have no further information about the injury sustained by Joe Kerr. Hopefully I'll have some of that information on the next episode of the Delaware Pro Wrestling Report. Excuse me. Next, Killian McMurphy defeated Omega Phoenix by countout. It was considered a major upset. Congratulations to Killian. And then in the main event, Damian Adams found out who his mystery opponent was, and it was Breaker Morant. And in an upset, Breaker Morant defeated Damian Adams to become the new DCW excuse me, to become the new DCW Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to him. And that was, in essence, Poetic Tragedy. Excuse me. Congratulations to him. Great card by DCW this month. I'll talk more about their combined card with 302 Pro Wrestling in just a little bit. Speaking of 302 Pro Wrestling, they had their return event in Milford at the Delaware Auto Exchange in Felton, on September 3rd. They had a tournament to crown, an elimination match for the first ever 302 Pro Wrestling Fight Live Championship. Yes, they do have matches that are now being broadcast on their Facebook page. Just type in 302 Pro Wrestling, click on like for their Facebook, and you can see the matches right there. On to the elimination matches. Louis G. Rich defeated P.J. Parker. Yams, the working man, defeated Louis J. Rich. Then he got eliminated by Prefontaine. Then Travis Banks, he defeated Prefontaine, But unfortunately, Travis Banks came and defeated Yams, eliminating him. Travis then beat Mac Buckler, but in the finals, Franco Varga defeated Travis Banks in the final match to become the new 302 Pro Wrestling Fight Live television champion. Congratulations to him. Then they had the Cruiserweight tournament. Round number 1 saw Ryan Vox defeat Sizzlin' Stan Styles, and Diaz defeated AC Wolf and Aaron Bradley in a triple threat match to advance to the semifinals. The 302 tag team titles were on the line. Pretty Ugly defeated 410 Massive to keep the belts, but they had a confrontation with the Dub Boys from CCW, Combat Zone Wrestling. We'll see what happens in the future involving them. Pretty Ugly and the Dub Boys. Then the semifinals of the Cruiserweight tournament. Joe Kerr defeated Ryan Vox. Ty Awesome defeated Diaz. And then Kiko the Flying Hawaiian, the Hawaiian Warriors he now calls himself, Kiko, defeated Corey Castle. And then in the finals, you'll see Joe Kerr defeat Ty Austin to become the new Cruiserweight champion. Congratulations to Joe Kerr. And then in the main event, the 302 Pro Wrestling Heavyweight title, the Dirty One, Sonny Deeds, won the belt thanks to his management of Billy and Bobby Bingo, defeated the Funky White Boy and Kindred in a triple threat match to win the championship. Of course, the Dirty One has held this title before. Congratulations to the Dirty One, Sonny Deeds, thanks to the help of Billy and Bobby, the Bingo Brothers. And that was 302 Pro Wrestling's event. Now, the next card for both of these organizations will be a combined effort at Dover Air Force Base. It will be available to military personnel and to those who have access to the military, and it's a free event. It'll be held in their gymnasium, which is located right next to the library at Dover Air Force Base. You can look up their website, 302 Promotions, on Google. Just type in 302 Promotions, and it'll take you to their website, and then click on the right arrow until you see the directions to the event. It will happen September 24th at the gymnasium at Dover Air Force Base, their fitness center. It's for those who have military access, and for the military, it is a free event. Hopefully we'll have the results for that on the next episode of the Delaware Pro Wrestling Report. But great job. Thumbs up to both organizations to help out the USO and our military people. Next up, let's talk about the ECWA. They'll have their 49th anniversary show. That's right, ECWA is 49 years old. It will happen on September 24th at the Woodbury Heights Community Center in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. That's 2 weeks from now. You will see in the main event the ECWA title on the line. Sean Carr will defend against Crowbar. Loser leaves ECWA match for the Mid-Atlantic title as Azrael with AJ Pan takes on Bobby Shields. ECWA tag team titles. PCA will defend against a team to be announced that night. The ECWA women's title on the line. Diona Purrazzo defends against Karen Q. Extreme Rednecks will battle it out with the Classics. Special guest referee Phil Sly as Mark Tartaglio battles Gino. Plus, Breaker Morant, Mr. Ooh La La, and others will be a part of this great card, the 49th anniversary show, September 24th at the Woodbury Heights Community Center in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. And that's your ECWA report for this month. Now, time for trivia answers to our trivia time questions. Get ready. So let me first repeat the question, and then I'll give you the answer. Both of these were true or false questions. Number 1, here we go. True or false? Former AWA World Champion Leo the Lion Nomalini set an NFL record for most consecutive games played with 174 games with the 49ers in 1963. The answer is true. They did set the record, so the answer is true. Next up, true or false. In a recent stat, since 1900, New York City has had the largest crowds for wrestling with 34, followed by Montreal with 15 in North America. The answer is true. Believe it or not, I was very surprised by that stat. New York had 34, Montreal was second with 15. And that is your Trivia Time answers to the Trivia Time questions. I'll have 2 more Trivia Time questions on the next episode of the Nitro Corner coming up next weekend. And that is it for this edition of the Delaware Pro Wrestling Report. Thank you so very much for joining us. We will be back on the air on October the 8th with another episode of the Delaware Pro Wrestling Report. Until then, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long everybody.